Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Monday. Signal, you asked what the name of that remix was. That's just the original song by Kid Cudi, Day and Night.
Oh, okay. It sounds different on my end. I haven't heard it in so long. I thought that was the remix. It's awesome. Love it. Love it. Great way to start Monday.
Big song 13 years ago or so. Speaking of being out, day and night, we had a guy go to House of Yes this weekend. How was that, amigo?
Yeah, that's private information, dude. I'm not a party goer, man. I'm just I shoot it straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just kind of a boring type of person. Like to hang out at home.
What is House of Yes?
It's a club, which I would say, well, this particular party was inspired by Burning Man, was the what they were saying. You had to dress up like you had gone to Burning Man. I don't have any Burning Man clothes. I used to when I lived in San Francisco, but in the process of moving, I got everything onto one clothing rack, and that was and then I was like, if it doesn't fit, it's not coming. Yeah, I don't know. There's basically oftentimes nudity there. That's one of the things that it's known for, I would say. There's like dancers in cages and other things like that. I was anticipating something extreme. It wasn't really that crazy, but it was a cool place. I actually enjoyed it. I stayed out way longer than I anticipated, but yeah, it was fun. I had not gone to any form of club. I don't know the last time that I'd gone to a club. Like literally, back in 1967 is probably when I last went to a nightclub, and let me tell you, things were completely different there.
Well, Signal, this isn't a nightclub like the Box and those plays, although it does sound like there are some similarities, but this is more of like a Brooklyn club where it's a large open warehouse style space. It is also funny that before Nick went, everyone's expectations of this place, the place's reputation, I think, is bigger than its reality, because I had another friend that had just moved to New York, and he's like, is it like, like, is it cool to go there? Like, is it good? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's just like a venue. It's not like some underground operation. It's an above board venue. You just go, and it's a little bit different probably than other places you've been to, but
I'd say the interior design reminded me. There was this place I used to go in DC called House of Secrets. And this was fully underground in the sense that like it was underage people drinking. Cause when I went there, I was not 21. I feel like I may have been 20 or something like that. And I just remember it, you would go in, the doorman would be like, yo, is he cool, man? You vouch for this guy, like whatever it is. And your friend would be
like, is he cool? Yeah, do you vouch for him?
Yeah, man. Or whatever it is. And you'd go into this place and it was a mansion in Northeast DC. Northeast DC in general is typically, well, it used to be even more sketchy. It's gotten way better, but I remember going into this place, and the interior design was just weird. Like one room had like parrot cages and with like fake birds inside of them and like other stuff that was there. There was a poker room. There was a movie room with which also had like multiple video game stations and like other, like they had really put in a lot of effort to make this an eclectic place. And the vibe was awesome. And I think that House of Yes felt very similar, an above board version of what that house was, because there's just interesting interior design choices. There's a lot of variety from one place to the other. There's 2 dance floors, and each one had a completely different vibe associated with it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I would definitely go again. Actually, I guess there were 3 dance floors, but 2 of them were basically together. But yeah, I would definitely go do that again. It was a fun place, fun spot.
Well, there you go. Nifty Nick having a weekend at House of Yes. Much different speed here. I had a sort of technique-based revelation. So I've gone on record on this show and other shows saying that I'm not a huge fan of American football anymore because of like the broadcasts and like the kind of old white guy feel where it's like, we saw this in week 4 and he's been doing it all year. And it's like, what a sensational, like, I just can't do it. And then it's like commercial and it's like, like some kind of ointment because you're an old man and you need the ointment. Like, I just can't do that broadcast. But I'm hanging with my friend in Hoboken, and he's a college football guy, and I'm definitely not a college football person. But there was a broadcast, this guy Pat McAfee, which I know Clemente is a fan of because I see it on our YouTube, like the NFT Morning Show YouTube. If I go into that account, it'll populate with Pat McAfee stuff. I didn't know anything about this guy. I know that he's big in sports. That's all I know. Well, he runs a broadcast that competes with the normal broadcast for college sports. So instead of getting the like, oh man, the Pac-10 and the blah, 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 like instead of getting that whole broadcast, he's standing there on the sideline. He's wearing a black tank top, like a black wife beater. This is his attire for the broadcast, Nick. He's standing there with a mic and he's got a squad. One of the guys in his squad has a mullet. So he's just got like this guy in his squad with a mullet. And it's just like the most casual broadcast, but actually really good and actually like enjoyable to watch. Like, I mean, this is the attire for the actual broadcast, Nick. At one point,
go
ahead, Nick.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, at one point, the guy with the mullet, a fan throws a beer at him, and it nails him in the shoulder. And then they're taking a look, like really just taking a look at the spill on the shoulder. And another guy in the squad is just laughing his ass off on the, you know what I mean? Because it's just like pretty damn funny. Matt McConaughey's there, and instead of the way that they would do it if it was like the professional broadcast where they're like interviewing him, and he's like McConaughey standing there with the mic trying to be professional. McConaughey's clearly knocked down a little bit too much whiskey, and he's standing there with them with the mic, and he's like bent over screaming into the mic while they're doing it. I was like, I can get behind this broadcast. This works for me.
He's got an ESPN show too, and on the show, the opening scene is like a card, and it says, "This show is not intended for children." And like right at the very end of the show, he just lets out he just cusses like on Disney and ESPN type stuff. And after they like talked about it, there was a couple like news articles that dropped. They were like, yeah, he may not get renewed for another season of this show.
So Barstool Sports had a format like this.
He was on Barstool.
And it got blocked because, so I watched the interview. I went and looked into who was the guy that interviewed Obama's
Carlson?
Tucker Carlson. So I go and look at his account this weekend, because I'm like, what were the other interviews that he did? And one of them was with El Presidente.
Really?
So yeah, and it's really good. And so because what's his name?
Portnoy.
David Portnoy. So he goes in and he basically like breaks down a lot of the legal issue, a lot of the issues that led to the breakup of Penn Gaming and Barstool, and how like the situation happened. And he basically talks about how they used to have this show, which was awesome, apparently it was awesome. It looks very reminiscent of the way that this show was operating, where they would just sit outside the game and talk about the whole thing while it was going on inside. And they tailgate, whatever. Like they were participating in the party, but also like kind of hosting the show, which that is the vibe of how that sort of setup feels like. And apparently they couldn't do it because gambling regulators, which Dave Portnoy got like pissed off about eventually. It was a conflict of creating content. So they like the gambling people would be like, Dave, you need to promise us that you won't date 19-year-olds. You need to and he was like, well, I don't date 19-year-olds, but I'm not making that promise because it's legal. But like he's basically talking about all of these like situations that he had to deal with as a result of them getting gambling license. And one of those things was that show had to be canceled, where they were going to the college football
campuses,
events. By the way, college football is probably better than NFL football, just in the sense that it's like so wild in terms of the outcomes. I think college sports are generally pretty entertaining. I mean, that's why March Madness is exciting, is because it's just like you have no idea what's going to happen. And like there's constantly like deep touchdowns and other things that are just like way on the NFL side, just far outside the normal distribution curve of like probabilities here of something going down. But yeah, anyways, it feels very much like that show from Dave Portnoy and Barstool. And so it's unsurprising that that's where he came from. And I think, honestly, this is just the way that content is going as a whole, is that you have that more personal. It's not like a Netflix production is disappearing.
It's relatability. It's like the ability to actually feel like you're having a conversation with the person. And not every conversation's like, well, in this episode, I am so excited for this. It's like, dude, that pass was fucking electric. That thing was a Hail Mary down the sidelines. That dude just died. It's like, wow, yeah, that was sick.
Well, when you're making it like sound, when you're also just having fun, like you don't give a shit, a little bit of irreverence, I think is like important. Obviously something that we respect. But I think that there's also this weekend or yesterday, I watched the US Open final, and it's really good. It was a really good match. Unfortunately, I wish it would Medvedev had gotten at least one set, would have been nice. Because I feel like the game vibe would have been totally different. Had this second set, had he won, and he lost in a tiebreak basically, and then it just was downhill from there. But the reason I bring it up is their form of announcing is basically dead silence for large portions of time. And instead, that silence is building anticipation of what's about to happen. And like you're feeling the tension associated with it. You're also like, part of it is also that people there are getting drunk and yelling shit out. And the umpire needs to be like, quiet, or just please is what they say. You're supposed to know, shut up. But I think that form of announcing is also really interesting. It's just dead silent for like extended periods of time while you're just like waiting for like what's going to happen next.
That's like sports specific. And that's a tennis thing. It is interesting, the different broadcasts for different sports, without question. Bunny, you have your hand raised. What's going on?
Nick, did you know that if you're at a tennis match, you can't go to the bathroom until the changeover? So there was a guy at the US Open, and he tried to run to the bathroom, and like someone comes over the loudspeaker and they made him sit down, dude. He has to wait until it's done. Crazy.
When you said the changeover, you're saying after the game is complete, like, or like by like game 1, 3, 5, or
you got to wait until the game's complete.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's not just game though. It sounds like, because there's you like I'm saying, okay, I'm getting into nuance, but regardless, that's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, well, look, it was a fascinating experience for me from a broadcasting perspective. Real quick, Clemente served up a little bit of quasi-breaking news from the Web 2 world, if you will. Grocery delivery app Instacart is aiming for a $7.7 billion valuation in its pursuit of an IPO. This is 3 years after they first started the path towards an IPO with Goldman Sachs. This valuation is down from the whopping $39 billion valuation they had in their latest funding round in 2021. I also know someone that works at a pre-IPO startup called Sneak, which now the boys at the All In podcast are talking about. It's a cybersecurity company. And it's been interesting to hear their experience, because it seems like the IPO market was basically non-existent there during the bear market that we were in 2022, and it seems to be creeping back. What do you think on about this, Nick? This IPO market, trying to come back, and what do you think about Instacart?
I don't really think about Instacart all that much. I don't use it. Amazon has Whole Foods delivery. That was the core portion of the market that Instacart was catering to for at least when I was in San Francisco. You could get Whole Foods delivery, but they would price the items differently.
Yeah.
And it was a complete scam at that moment in time. I have not touched it since. I mean, the fact that delivery startups are working, this is like the 90s internet startups finally materialized and succeeded. There's a number of others that exist, like Postmates is one that I think is comparable, but they also had to like focus on food delivery was the only area that ended up working. Food delivery is such such a weird portion of the market that you're willing to pay so much more for convenience. But if I'm getting groceries, I'm using a Whole Foods Amazon app because at least they're not increasing it. That said, one of the things, if you're living in New York, the best deal is just walking downstairs to Trader Joe's, because apparently Trader Joe's has the same price across the entire US.
Correct.
And so like you can actually get fruits and vegetables at a reasonable cost, and you go out of there, you can actually eat healthy basically as a result of going to Trader Joe's, primarily for the fruits and vegetables, that aspect of things. And then I guess I don't know about the quality of their meat. I'm like on the fence about it. It's like not that great, but
but people are buying the frozen meals there. That's what I learned during 2020 is like, because in New York there were lines around the block to go to the grocery store, right? So I'd see like a line around the block, but then the farmers market didn't have a line, and I was like, you guys know, like you can go buy food over there. But Clemente was telling me that now he discovered Trader Joe's. Now that Clemente is a New Yorker and experiencing New York pricing, you discovered Trader Joe's, right, Clemente?
Yeah, I went phenomenal pricing. Everything's great on that department. The frozen food I realize is like super bad for you though. So I'm like trying to scale back. Like I was looking at the nutrition. All right. Also, side note, yesterday we all know how Pio's it goes crazy about his food quality and everything. Yesterday or on Friday, we were co-working together, and I whipped out a Cliff Bar as a snack. I'm like, oh, I got to get my protein in. Pio looks at me, goes, "You're eating that, dude? That is junk food, dude."
I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be back.
But Pio's like the ultimate like judger of like the food that you're consuming, and it's like, how about you take a fucking hike, dude? Like, what are you talking about? I'm gonna eat what I eat. But I will say, at least, he does feel a little bit more like he consumes more nutritious content than that. He is right about some of it, but his way of perceiving it, he would not persuade anybody to take any sort of action, basically, based on how he treats
way
people.
That he says it.
No,
it's not friendly. He's like,
I would drink more just to annoy him.
Yeah. He'd be like, yeah, what the hell are you eating over there, you fucking fat slob? It's like, dude, Jesus Christ, man. Like, just enjoying one ice cream sandwich. Like, let me live. My bad. Like, we all die anyway. Woo!
It was funny because when we were in, sorry, did you want to say something, Signal?
No, I was just saying, I've just discovered the equivalent of Instacart where I am. And I mean, like we have a car, but I don't like to use the car. So I like to walk everywhere to go get my, groceries and stuff. But the one thing which is really annoying is stuff like laundry detergent, washing up tablets, water. You can't buy that in bulk and then walk home, because otherwise you're basically going to the gym. Like 6 bottles of water here, 6 bottles of water here. And like you're trying to like get home. You just look like an idiot. But these Instacart apps, I mean, literally, I made the order and it was at my house in 10 minutes. I was just like, I'm very slow to this, or the city that I'm in didn't have it before, and it's just arrived, and it's just game changing. I will never do it for food or for meat. I will always go to the shops and walk down and pick my own veggies and fruit. But for like stuff that you don't want to carry back to the house, I'm like, I am never ever driving anywhere to get my laundry detergent again. I'm not going to go to Costco. I'm just going to order it on the app and it comes to the house. So I'm with you guys. You guys are ahead this week, the US is ahead because you have Instacart. Okay. Last week you were behind. This week you're ahead. But yeah, Pio, you're very judgmental. Absolutely.
The other thing that you deal with those delivery apps, though, which is a downside associated with it, like the person the shopper who's getting the food, they don't give a shit about which tomato they get you, which watermelon they get you, whatever it is. Oftentimes, like, you also need to go into Amazon and select do not replace on every single item, because they'll be like, you ordered asparagus and they're like, they replaced it with green onions. And you're like, what the hell are you doing? Like, these are completely incomparable things. What the hell are you? It's like, well, it was both green, right? Like that's like how the shopper is operating. They just do not give a shit. That said, the other thing you should do is when you order it on Amazon, you should just go on and basically say, I didn't get this item. and they'll just refund you. So you can do that with like chicken, salmon, whatever it is.
You just rip them off.
Items. You can if you want. Because I was always surprised how fast, like legitimately, I would report it and they'd be like, just instantly refunded. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, so is everybody doing this, but just actually saying that they didn't get their chicken? Like how chicken?
I didn't get that ribeye steak, buddy. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
I got 3 filet mignons, but 0 of them showed up. So I don't know what the hell is going on here.
Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to discuss FriendTech's resurgence. We're going to discuss Mochaverse's $20 million raise and the FTX liquidation fears, among other things. We're going to dive into this weather report. Signal, please take it away.
Sorry, a bit slow on the button today, guys.
All good.
It is the weather report. It is Monday, September the 11th. Market volume is at 7.3 million. Blur at 4. OpenSea down in the 1.8. Onto the market lead as well. While most of the collections have bled over the weekend, the large caps luckily have held their floors pretty well. Azuki, the biggest loser, now down 8% in the last 7 days. Following a good peak at 0.6 ETH with Pudgy Penguin and Opepen collabs. Unfortunately, Opepens are also down 30% in the last 30 days. And then another downer is Sproto Gremlins. They're also down 20% in the last 7 days, holding a 0.6 ETH floor. Not so great for the September start. Over the past 24 hours, well, it's FriendTech everyone's been talking about on the timeline. They're continuing to see a resurgence in activity, recording over 12 million in trading volume on Saturday. Meanwhile, total NFT volume on the same day was only 9.1 million. So FriendTech smashing total NFT volume. Onto security, and Vitalik Buterin's Twitter was hacked and posted a fake consensus wallet drainer mint. One user ended up losing a hoodie and a pig's tail CryptoPunk and nearly lost 3 zombie punks as well. Luckily, the owner caught onto the drain and only approved the first 2 transactions. Onto Matchy Big Brother. He was a guest on the show a couple of weeks ago. He has been on a Bored Ape shopping spree and now owns 130 apes that he purchased through Blur Bid Farming. His collection is now valued at over $5 million, while the 8th floor is currently at 27 ETH. And then lastly, Animoca Brands announced that they have raised $20 million for their Mochaverse NFT collection and will be used to level up product development, Web3 adoption, and their Web3 culture within the entertainment ecosystem. Mochaverse is the winner of the week, and that is up 66% to a 0.88 ETH floor. That is all for the weather report news. Back to you in the studio.
Fantastic weather report as usual, Signal. Some updates from the Nifty Daily Digest. That's available at thenifty.com. You need to have an account there to claim the free NFTs that are posted here almost daily. Also, a reminder, the Daily Digest is posted right here on Twitter, right here on X every morning, and it's actually pinned up top on the Twitter Spaces show. It's emailed to anyone that subscribes at thenifty.com. Couple of stories here. Nouns DAO's fork went live, which allows existing Nouns holders to return their Nouns in exchange for 35.5 Ethereum each. Next story, Deadfellaz, their RIP TCG vaults, and that's going to be a sale for their trading card game that's in early development stages, has moved to a public sale with 3,900 sold out of 25,000. So less than 20% sold so far. What's the price on these, Clemente?
So
too much.
No, it was I think it was $20 to $30 for existing Deadfellaz or Dead Friends holders. Now the public sale is live, and you can buy them for $100 if you don't own anything. But the problem is they're already all listed below that price on OpenSea.
Tough one. Well, we'll have to see how that plays out. We got well, a couple more stories, ladies and gentlemen. Farokh Fatih Ozer, the founder of a Turkish crypto exchange that abruptly shut down and left customers without access to over $2 billion
1,000 years
in assets.
Dude, this story is crazy.
They'll throw the book at you over in Turkey, ladies and gentlemen. They booked this guy for 11,196 years in jail. I don't care if you're Brian Johnson. That's going to keep you behind bars for the rest of your life. Only Brian Johnson can compete with this one. 12K years. I like it. And I know Easy made a video on this one. Last story, 6 NFTs will be featured on Williams Racing's F1 cars during the United States Grand Prix in October, courtesy of Kraken NFT. Can't wait for everyone to hate that car more than the other car. No, I'm just kidding. Nick, go ahead.
Did you talk to this team here, Clemente, and say, hey, we're going to feature you in the newsletter today? You always put this sponsored bullshit in the newsletter, and I'm tired of these brands just getting in here for free.
To be fair, Nick, it's hard to tell what you're going to react to as, that should have been.
I just figured I'd add that. This Deadfellaz situation, yoinks. Why? So it was $20 for mint for holders, and it jumps to $100 for public. That's a hard pill to swallow.
And the other thing is like, okay, so I have a couple things because I used to be super plugged into the Deadfellaz ecosystem. The first thing is, why would you make these tradable right away? Because what's everyone going to do? They're going to try to flip this. If it's 5x the mint price for public sale, like it's kind of a no-brainer. And obviously the market's reacting to it accordingly. Also, this game's not going, it's in early development. The game won't actually be live. Its alpha version comes out in 2024. Its beta comes out in 2025. So you're essentially buying something that you're not really going to get to use for at least 4 or 5 months.
That's a tough one. We'll have to see how it plays out. Well, I don't know. First story that we're Nick, go ahead, Nick.
I mean, this morning's report, I feel like it's like we need to just acknowledge the depression that exists right now. We went from despair to suicidal is where this crypto Twitter got. I saw one this morning. The guy was just like, this is the most toxic fucking space. I sold all my crypto and I'm done. I saw that tweet this morning.
Wasn't that a meme though?
Oh, was it?
I think it's like a copy pasta, as we call it in this space.
Well, it felt pretty real, and the guy did a follow-on tweet about it. I mean, it felt. Or
maybe I'm tripping. I might be wrong.
Felt legitimate, and then you had Farokh getting into the beef this weekend, and then today being like, "I'm sorry that I wasn't professional. Sometimes I don't realize the people that work on my team." Farokh should come join our company because you'd be used to it by now. I just don't give a shit what I post. He actually is like, what were his employees message him and they were like, yo man, you said the word dick in your tweet, dude. And I don't appreciate that. Yo man, I don't appreciate how you called out a actual piece of trash who's just a complete troll and literally shit on your shoe, type of person, worse than I would say. The guy just sucks. And he's now apologizing for saying that. He should just own it. Polly's garbage, dude. And the whole crew is just the fact that they still exist is actually part of the problem because they brought the negativity to the space. But that was okay when the space was 90% just irrationally positive. You needed somebody like that to be in the space to kind of keep people a little bit straight. Now it's just not even the scammers are making money. Okay. So if the scammers can't make money in this market unless you're straight up robbing people, that's the only option. But dude, they hacked Vitalik and made a couple $100,000. That's
made over $500,000.
That's still bear market territory. If Vitalik tweeting something, and how did Vitalik get hacked? This guy is
baby. SMS 2FA with a SIM swap is what always happens. Every single time, no auth code, nothing. The craziest part about that scam too is the first ever CryptoPunk that was minted was in that scam. It was a hoodie punk. It was the first ever claimed CryptoPunk, and it was involved. And that guy had 3 zombies too, and he caught on after the second punk got taken.
Dude,
before he lost the zombies.
Vitalik doesn't have proper security procedures in place to prevent this is just indicative of the fact that I'm gonna be honest here.
Dude, these scammers could make so much
more. It makes crypto
more.
look pretty whack. Like when Vitalik's getting hacked, you got people who know what they're talking about. The dude is a genius. When you read his articles, you're just like, damn, this guy is fucking brilliant. But even he cannot be blocked from being involved one way on one side or the other of
but
some
it's a
sort
Twitter
of crypto scam.
Yeah, it's a Twitter scam. It's not like Ethereum, had some sort of flaw, right?
That's where the hackers fumbled, though. You open up a 200x long, 1000x long, or short, 1000x short, and you tweet, "I'm leaving Ethereum. I don't see a future here." Oh, dive into Rollbit, print a couple M's, and just get out. Like, that's it. It would have been no effort, no stealing. It takes 7 words, and you could have printed significantly more with way less of trying to liquidate the NFTs. Could have been so easy.
We call that Ocean's Easy. That is Ocean's 11. That's Ocean's 11. Not like it's funny that like everyone's criticizing the scam for being too simple, but I kind of get it. It's like if you manage to get his account. So on Easy's page, you pull that off, and it's just like Houdini. It's that stock market like beep.
I mean, I bet you could have. Well, actually, I'm gonna go. That may be too inappropriate for my own liking. The thought that I was having. But I'll ignore that one. We already had Dick conversation on Friday, and that was enough entertainment for the at least a couple of days associated with that. The other thing is. Yeah, there were like I saw that was actually a copy pasta this weekend. Was basically like the 1000x short was like there were a bunch of people tweeting about that. Dude, this market is as bearish as possible. This is actually getting to the level that I was saying we should reasonably be.
Like a year ago, you were saying that it takes time.
I was like, you want people to say, "Does this make sense at all?" And I'm feeling some of that right now as it applies to NFTs, which is like what the question I ask myself right now, the bear take that I have is this like the ICOs of yesteryear, basically? Like, were NFTs like ICOs? There were ICOs that came back during the last bull run, but not in the same way. Your buddy was not calling you, asking you about token XYZ. They were instead calling and asking about, at which the NFT, whatever the NFT was, is Deadfellaz the thing that I need to go buy? And that was the type of question that was going on. And the reality is like ICOs, they never really materially came back. You have shit coins that do exist, which is kind of like an ICO. And so I think from that standpoint, that does exist. I don't think that's going to go away. But, unless the U.S. requires KYC to set up a wallet, then that would probably eliminate a lot of those things, although it would just happen internationally. But that's like the most bearish perspective you can basically have on NFTs is that these were shit coins all along, and the ICO equivalents, and none of those businesses are going to be around. The only things you can hold on to pretty much are the top ones. And CryptoPunks have been holding up pretty solid through this bear market. Apes, actually, I would argue, have surprisingly held up a fair amount, all thanks to Machi, who owns like an increasing quantity of them. But yeah, I don't know. Like it feels as bearish as possible. OpenSea with 1 million in sales for the day, or a little over 1 million. We're at like we went from, I was like, well, this market's at least $1 billion a year. Now it's down to 300 million. That's like a drop. Soon enough, we're going to be making more money from sponsorship sales than there is sales in the market. And let me just tell you, that's not a place that you want to be. Like in general, usually if you're selling advertising, you want to be doing advertising in a market where they're at least making some money, but nobody can make money in this space. That's the current reality.
Well, there's a few things. So, I think this is actually a really great thing to talk about. We're going to talk about FriendTech and some of these other stories right after, but I think it's worth discussing this. So there's a few different things, right? There's discussion about price. That's absolutely something that you can discuss. And then there's a discussion about substance. Keep in mind that Ethereum, it's low in the previous cycle, if I recall correctly. And if I'm incorrect about this, please correct me. But if I recall, the low for Ethereum's price was $80 at the bottom of the last cycle.
Yeah, and then even right before the COVID bottom was like 250 or something like that, or 180. I mean, it was pretty low, somewhere in the couple $100 range.
I was buying Ethereum for $170 in March, April 2020. And so that's I'd say in the throes
looking
of
like a genius.
I mean, not really. Didn't know what I was doing. But anyway, that was when I was first starting to accumulate. So check it out. So when you talk about, you mentioned like friends calling you, and that's how mainstream NFTs got, is that literally, and I've been talking to some YouTube consultants, right? So I've spoken to 3 or 4 YouTube consultants just about our YouTube channel, always trying to get better, always trying to like, figure out, is there stuff that we can do to get better?
I'm just always trying to improve, like I just want people to recognize that, I'm out in the gym, I'm working out, I'm eating healthy food, but that's not relevant to what we're discussing right now. But I just want you all to know that I'm always on my peak performance game.
Okay. Thank you for the impression of me. So it's interesting to talk to the YouTube consultants, because they'll show me a chart about the search terms for NFT over the past year. And like one guy put a Loom video together and he's like, it's down. And I'm like, no shit. I know it's down, amigo. And he's just like, so you have to think about if this is something that you want to keep making content on. It's down. And I'm like, I know, dude. I'm aware that not as many people are searching for NFT search terms now than they were a year and a half ago, obviously, right? Go ahead.
To be fair, those advisors are people that train people on how to make passive income from YouTube. So I don't know that like that's really the best consultants. They're basically trying to sell info products, which is completely unrelated to what we're doing. And so they're basically saying, go build audience, turn it into a conversion funnel is their entire focus.
Some of them are like that. Another guy did help Mr. Beast on one of his big videos. And so I'm like talking to that guy, right? And I also think that guy gets it more. The other thing is that there are people that I've talked to in the YouTube consulting space that have like kind of a fundamental understanding of NFTs. You don't need NFTs to be quote unquote mainstream to the point that they were, where literally everybody knew, like everyone on the planet heard about NFTs, which is a pretty insane place to be. And they don't actually have to get back to that point, because it's not like people are talking to you about Magic the Gathering cards. It's not like people are talking to you about Pokemon cards every day. Obviously, people know what Pokemon cards are, but you don't actually have to get to that point. The other thing is that the majority of people that were buying NFTs were buying them with the hope of selling them to someone else for more money within a certain amount of time, preferably an extremely short amount of time. And that's just not how it's working right now. If that's how it's working, I would just go buy a bunch of NFTs. I'd wait 5 days and I'd sell them for more money than I paid for them. And I make money. I would pay for my food that I eat every day with the profits of that trade. And you can't do that right now. So you're seeing liquidity dry up. But as you find people actually making things that have a reason to exist and incorporating the NFT technology into those, that's how gradually over time you'll see it quote unquote come back. That doesn't mean a random ass NFT's price is going to come back to the price that you bought it for. That's not what I'm talking about. And the whole space is very, 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 very focused on price. The space is obsessed with price. I've been talking to a bunch of different people from different walks of life in the space, and the one common thing everybody brings up is price. Is it going to come back? And it's like, I think you're just thinking about it the wrong way. Nick, go ahead.
Mine's completely unrelated. I'm actually kind of aghast at what's gone down with Deadfellaz here. I'm sitting here. No, I'm actually, this is a legitimate situation. I am aghast at what took place here. I'm looking at their mint page. This mint page looks like it was made in the 2021 bull run. So that's like the starting point. There's no landing page. There's nothing associated with this. There's no articulation of what it is. There was no promotion leading up to it. We heard about it last week for the first time. What was going through this team's mind is the thing that I'm trying to figure out. This is so absolutely ludicrous. They're on a completely different level where they actually think, so they were just going to tweet out like it was 2021. We're doing a drop. Get fucking pumped. Give us $1 million for a trading card thing that you're going to get to play in 2025. What the fuck was going through their mind? I'm like so shocked. I'm looking at this collection. I cannot believe how irrational that team has to be. Like they're like floating off on some level where I just don't understand where they're sitting. Like they thought that like people are gonna be like, oh, trading card game. Let's give these guys $1.5 million and let's charge 5x price. They're like fucked. this is the thing that's so crazy. How are they going to fund this project? What are they going to do now? What are they going to go to their audience and say, hey guys, sorry, we didn't raise enough money? Are they going to refund people? Like, what are they going to do? I'm like completely shocked by like what the hell went down here. Sorry for this tangent, but I'm just
no apologies.
I'm just sitting here looking at this, being like, they're delusional. Like they're completely delusional about what this market has going on. That they would throw this insulting page up the way that it's like set up. I just feel like the thing is like, it's kind of ridiculous that this was just going to like occur. And I'm trying to figure out who in this space has any sort of what's crazy about it is I think they're actually phenomenal at brand partnerships over at Deadfellaz. They've been able to close a bunch of different deals. Betty's always partnered with all these different events. It seems like she's at all these different events. She's always been at all of them, basically. And they're good at building relations. But this to me seems so ridiculously like that's the one thing that I'm like, damn, why wouldn't they like in this market? You got to lean into that sort of area where you're looking at brand partnerships slash like deals with other people that are going to help offset the cost, because there's no way that the market can sustain this sort of thing. But I'm just trying to figure out what went on with this particular drop. I don't know why I'm so triggered. One of the things that also stands out to me is you can't find the collection on OpenSea. It's not verified. It is RIP TCG vaults. Their listing is not verified. They don't have the same account. It doesn't show who created this project. There's just a lot of ingredients here that feel completely off. Like, look, it shows it doesn't say on that collection who created it. So like there's a lot of things about this that I'm just like, what the hell is going on with this drop? It feels like it was not fully executed properly here. And I'm just kind of, it's such a weird play, because it's also like for a team that's so familiar with brand positioning and reputation and some of these other things, the execution of a drop in the NFT space is basically one of the single most important things, because it impacts whether or not your brand is going to get to continue to survive at all. And that's like the hardest thing associated is like a lot of people like can't get their drops out successfully. And I just think like there's a bunch of things in here that feel like what the hell?
What?
That feel so weird. Sorry, my site or my computer froze. If you move your mouse to the corner, it just like goes to the lock screen. Anyways, sorry for the complete tangent there off of what you were saying there, Pia, about a lot of people, you know, they call and they ask, is the price going to go back up? And they're focused on the wrong thing. That's what you were just discussing. My apologies. I didn't mean to bring off that.
No.
But in this case, it's like, how are you going to sell this out? I'm just like shocked. And there's not a lot of brands remaining in this space that have any reputation. Right now is the moment when you can really shoot yourself in the foot. We saw it from DGod still has a somewhat positive brand. So like they haven't fully done it, but that drop did not, or their release did not happen the way that a lot of people were anticipating. The biggest thing right now in this market is do not shoot yourself in the foot. And that's what like you have to do to survive the next, frankly, 24 months. Yeah. And a lot of people are shooting themselves in the foot. And like investors aren't going to be like, oh, sorry, here's 10 milli, you know, you'll work
Go
it
try
out.
again.
I mean, some of them will. Like to be wrong, like, but those are more predatory like investors or people that have ulterior motives is where that exists. But I don't know, man. This is not what you want. I wonder what the impact on the Deadfellaz floor has been as a result of this. That's the thing I'm looking at. It's actually been pretty strong. By strong, I mean flat. So I
Which
mean,
is strong in this market.
Yeah. So, but I don't know, man. This is tough. Sorry for that tangent and that rant, but I'm just seeing this thing. There's so much garbage shit happening right now. FriendTech is the biggest thing happening. The number of people trading on there is 100 or 150. Are we up to 200 now? It's like the number of wallets involved with this pump is like absurd. And some people that went from fudding it have now gone to like being like, this is the future. And I'm just observing the absolute insane behavior taking place on the timeline. This is depression, man. This is bad.
We're in that phase, and it's going to be like this for a long time. That's the depression phase.
This is tough, man.
Yeah, I love Easy's level of like just confidence. He's like, we're in the depression phase. He's like,
I bought an ETH NFT yesterday. I deployed some capital. I'm not. Did we drop it? All right. I mean, it's cheap. I'm taking a flyer on this, by the way, but it was kind of to the rent. No, not. Oh, Bunny hasn't bought it yet. Okay, I'm still gonna air it out. So it's actually something that to me, like we hear about this IP thing constantly, right? Everyone's like, oh, IP. It's called Krap chickens. All right, sounds terrible.
Krap chickens.
You ready for this? So let me just break this down.
No, he's on.
How do you find this
I'm
thing?
dead serious. So it's Krapopolis.
I'm buying it.
This premieres next week on Fox, immediately after The Simpsons. In the description on Fox, it says a blockchain-based TV show that's created by the community. They didn't mint out. It was a 0.18 ETH mint. They sold about 30% of the supply. The floor was 0.075 yesterday. I was like, all right, this is. I'm taking a swing on this. I think it at least goes to 2x, 0.15. The holders actually vote on where the show goes, and it's created by Dan Harmon, co-founder of Rick and Morty, and also made Community. So he's the backer behind this. And I was like, at this point, dude, yeah, they aired the commercial during the NFL, which is what triggered me. I was like, wait, this show's actually coming out. Finally, someone's doing this IP thing with an actual show. I'm going to take a flyer because if they can't get it right at this point, I don't know who can. So I think I can at least get a 2x out of this, and then I'm dumping it right back into more vessels. That's my play. So I did deploy some capital.
I mean, these look like those, the design of these chickens looks like those, remember the copycat? It was like trying to be a Zed Run clone that I remember Zeneca was.
Run Chicken Derby?
No, I liked Chicken
Look
Derby.
Look what Brian Brinkman just said. Is this true?
No, it's not. There's no way that was the case.
I hope not.
The not Krapopolis or what Krap chickens. This is pretty funny. What was the horse thing that exists that I'm blanking on the name of it. Anyways.
Glue Factory.
Oh God. And he was like, I don't know if I remember the tweet from Zeneca was like, I don't know if this thing's going anywhere. I have no idea what the deal is, but I like what the team is doing. And so don't get mad if this thing goes to zero. Promptly went to zero after I bought it. But the design of this kind of reminds me of that. Someone says Krap chickens are giving early Basie vibes.
He's right.
Yeah,
I just bought a Krap chicken. Ebring said cock punch. Do you know why this is different? Do you know why this is different than cock punch? Is because Tim Ferriss literally just told you that he was going to rug you.
He said at any point I can delete my Twitter and delete the Discord and you can't say shit about it. And sure enough, he was like,
"Floor of Legends of cock punch is 0.19.
Not surprised.
It's high.
That's pretty high, yeah. With 6,000 ETH volume, this only has 529. You may have picked a good one here, Easy. The unrelated thing I was going to bring up is Solana, which we did not have in the newsletter there. Clemente kind of missed the boat completely on that one.
It's in the call sheet.
Okay. Oh, okay. It's in the call sheet. Got it. There we go. Well, I guess that's okay. This is bear market activity, Clemente. So I'm just gonna talk shit about your performance for probably the next month.
Well, real quick. All right, you want bear market stuff, Clemente? And this is I like to bother all of our listeners for 30 seconds. Clemente, quickly pull up Mike Alfred's Twitter and let's just read one or two tweets, and then we'll dive into FriendTech in one moment.
Wait, you mean Solana? What happened to what I just said? You just said
FriendTech. Screw you, Nick.
Oh, no, sorry. Solana. Whatever we want to do. 30 seconds of Mike Alfred.
The apology.
Real quick, we got 30 seconds of Mike Alfred. So it's fun to watch the bears getting increasingly desperate. They know they're running out of time, carrying costs and approaching halving or making their shorts less and less attractive. They need Bitcoin lower, and they need it lower very soon. You can feel it. Bear meat soon. That's an alpha tweet right there, ladies and gentlemen. Ready to hit one more. Soon. LOL, they're trying to manipulate the price lower, but it's not working very well. It just keeps bouncing back up. In 12 months, it'll be a lot higher, and all these shenanigans will be long forgotten. Good stuff. I'm not surprised that you like this. This is well, who's they? Like, exactly. They're trying. Like, it's always like the enemy, the people controlling the market, the whales. They're coming for a signal. Did you want to say something? It looked like you wanted to say.
I was going to say, like, we have to split things because crypto doesn't feel like it's in the bear. It just feels like it's kind of doing its thing, going sideways. NFTs feel like it's in the bear, where it's just like
1 year lag, baby. 1 year lag.
But it's a depression phase. It trades flat for an uncomfortable amount of time that makes people leave because they don't ever see an upward trajectory on it. Like if you look at Bitcoin, that's on NFTs, super glued.
But that's on NFTs, easy. And I think when we have this conversation, we should like separate them out because it feels like on the crypto side of things, people are just taking their position, whichever the price go up, price go down. But it feels like people aren't leaving. They're just getting prepared for the next 12 months. On NFTs, that's where I agree with Nick that it feels completely like depressed, suicidal, like people are like, sorry, I shouldn't say that. But like it feels, people have lost hope. And that's the worst part. Like they just like, what is the point of this PFP? What is the point of having this 20,000 JPEG? If you're not matchy, or you're just accumulating because you're trying to have a higher mission, okay, then your reason for holding or buying a new JPEG, which is extremely expensive, doesn't make sense. And I don't think you're going to be finding a group of people around you, supporting your decision and saying, go for it, unless it's art, whereby people are like, yeah, potentially this artist or this piece of work could be the next big thing. But I just think that crypto is not in a depression or in a bear market. I think it's just crabbing for the next 12 months. And I think there's definitely going to be a move. But NFTs right now, there is a massive delay. And that is why when we're seeing efforts made by teams like Nick was talking about with Deadfellaz, it just feels so out of touch with what is currently happening because nothing new or innovative is really coming out on the NFT, especially on the PFP side.
Clemente has renamed the space. Is it even worth it anymore?
Great title. It's working.
Which is pretty hilarious.
Clemente's getting better. Clemente's getting better, ladies and gentlemen.
Darkest shit ever. It's like someone's going to tweet it like, are they about to do it?
Like, are they about to just jump?
Are they about to do it?
I'll jump. If it means we're going to get like 1,500 concurrent listeners, I'll totally just jump. I feel like I can make it. There's some trees below. I'll just kind of like figure it out. I got a tweet real quick. Oh, go ahead, Nick. Well,
no, go ahead.
I got a tweet from Clemente you got to pull up. Also, I want to shout out a gentleman's name is Crypto Elf of Rivendell. So we got a gentleman named Crypto Elf of Rivendell with a YouTube comment. He said, "Cope, alts are bleeding like a stuck pig." My response to Crypto, he's saying buy Bitcoin. I was about to say that he had no Bitcoin. I was literally about to dump on him.
Look at those laser eyes. Come on.
Now I see the laser eyes. I was about to dump on him. I was going to be like, this guy's mad because he's buying shit coins that are going to zero left and right, and he can't figure out how to buy Bitcoin. That was a plot twist right there from Crypto Elf of Rivendell. Yeah.
Plot twist. He actually likes Bitcoin, so Pio respects him.
He's a fan. I'm a fan of him.
Well, real quick, I got to read this Mike Alfred tweet. Then we're going to give Nick the mic.
Why are we reading another Mike Alfred tweet?
Because it's super relevant.
Real quick, I have to do this right now. This is so fucking important that I read this Mike Alfred tweet. Read the tweet, and then I'm pulling up my technicals here.
Okay, sounds good. This is the highest probability accumulation zone in the history of Bitcoin. There's a bunch of clowns on this website trying to get people to sell based on vague macroeconomic doom posts and squiggles on a chart. You literally can't make this up. Incredible time to be alive. Show us the squiggles on the chart, Nick, please.
So here's some squiggles. Pio said that this is the Solana range that I'm looking at here.
What's that bottom target? I can't see it.
I'm buying the shit out of Solana, by the way.
1720.
1480. 1480, you deploy every last dollar is my play.
Where are you coming up with 1480? Where is that coming from?
Down a little more, like right up there, a little
no,
higher.
This is 1480, but where? This peak?
Yeah,
okay.
right there. and that breakdown, that rejection off the previous wick down, and the breakout on the left side is where I'm looking. 1480 is like my golden target for Sol. If we get that, boys cooking.
Yeah, and not before. You can't buy it at 15.25.
I buy every single day. I buy Sol every single day.
I don't know what chart you're using to come up with that, because it feels like you can't look at numbers or something like that when you say it. I see 1490 there. I don't see where 1480 is, but whatever, do your own thing, dude. But the thing I was gonna, I actually I would accumulate some here. Like maybe this, maybe it sticks around this. So I want to actually discuss the driver of this in particular was the whole FTX thing that was circulating last week. And I want to walk through what that actually looks like and whether like the potential that it has to dump. So the thing that I was looking at, so this was, then I saw the corrected version of this, but even the corrected version, do you have that one, Clemente? The one where, so I'll send you the link. Basically, you can pull that one up first. So that one's fine. And then I'll send you this link where someone wrote the other one. It's in the private chat, but we can walk through what this is. So basically the argument is FTX is starting liquidation on September 13th. And as a result of that, what they were saying is essentially Solana is one of their biggest holdings and that they're going to just dump this whole thing basically on the market. Now, there's a couple of things here which are wrong with this. I posted in the private chat, Clemente, the link. But the most fundamental issue with this is if it's on the people that are managing the liquidation proceedings to get as much money as possible. So let's first start with that. It's their job. Fundamentally. Like, and they're not usually in the business of just basically like flooring the shit out of everything. And they're not going to do it in the open market. Like they're not going to go sell $7 billion of tokens or whatever it is, whatever the number is, maybe $1 billion. The other thing is the lock thing, which is so this other guy on Twitter came out, Dunno World, came out and basically said, well, this is bullshit because a large percentage of it is locked. Yes, a large percentage of it is locked. It's also a large percentage of Solana, though. So there is validity to the position that there will be liquidation events that occur. My assumption is that those are going to be OTC, and those are going to be deals that are done privately where they go and sell that block to a market maker or something like that who wants to buy it, and then it's going to play out from there. Now, usually, though, if they do it at a discount to market price, which they may do for some of it just because they have an obligation to liquidate, you could see negative price pressure on Solana. But it's unclear. Well, I started running the numbers and I was like, well, what is the daily volume of Solana? And yesterday it was like $350 million. And they have more than that they're holding here. And they also have liquid vested amounts that are already done or like that are already available for them to sell. So like, I do think there's going to be some negative price pressure. Do you think this is as far as it goes, CZ, or like, cause you're saying
100%. This is like, to me, like I looked at, and then the quote negative price action. This is like the final stand for quote like institutional capital that holds the majority of the bag. Like when FTX collapsed, everyone said it was all over because they held a ton. It's also a multi-year lockup. So if they sell this OTC, that lockup's still in place where they have the right to the SOL and it'll unlock in the same pattern. So to me, it's not going to be just a massive God candle down. I think this is an overreaction, in my opinion, to the potential selling event. I do think we have lower lows at the moment because the entire market right now is like chart wise still looks relatively bearish. Like I think we see 1480, 1490 on ETH. And if Bitcoin closes under 26K, we could see upward like high 24s, which to me is like not a massive sell-off, but it's enough to have some downward pressure that could continue to push alts lower, which always react more volatile. We saw Sol with a 7% red day compared to Bitcoin at about 0.5% over the weekend. And that to me is like a sign that alts will continue to move more aggressively down and on the upside. Because when you have a 0.5% green day on Bitcoin, Sol's call at 4 or 5% bids. So to me, this is just still the best RR trade for me, where I'm looking at it and I'm like, sub $20 feels like the biggest no-brainer because I'm confident Solana is going to see 100 again, which is still more than a 50% off of its all-time high. And if Sol does a 6x for ETH to do that, that's what, 9K for Bitcoin to do that. That's 120,000. So you're looking at these comparatives, and I'm like, Sol just feels like the best return, like risk return.
Did you get rid of your light for your camera, Easy, by the way?
My
Because
outside light is moving, so the sun. I gotta put the shade down.
I've been talking to him, Nick. We're talking about it. We're gonna keep talking about it.
Okay, so well, I'm definitely picking up Solana here. The one thing, it is tough. I've put in like 20 grand so far, and I'm like, how deep do I want to go on this?
Deep, baby. Let's go. I'm going deep, amigo. I mean, it's getting weird. I'm not going to lie. It's getting weird. People, like, I remember one commenter, like, because I was, like, talking about Bitcoin. They were like, he's overexposed. I was like, the funny thing is, I, like, lose sleep at night because I'm underexposed. I'm like, literally, this is the accumulation phase. How do I get more? How do I do it? I've been selling. This is a crazy thing for me to do, but I've actually been selling Tesla stock and buying Bitcoin with the sold Tesla stock, which is one of the weirdest things I think I've ever done my whole life. I had never done that. I had never sold any Tesla stock at all. And, was up like, I don't even know, 5 figures just in one single brokerage. And I was like, I guess I'm going to quote unquote trim this bag and buy Bitcoin with it. I know it was weird, but I'm doing it.
I don't know. This also feels like one of those Donald Rumsfeld moments. You have, your known knowns, your known unknowns. It was like FTX was the unknowns, right? And it went to $8 and somehow got saved. And here we have the known knowns, like this is a sell event, but it doesn't really change Solana's value for how institutions like Visa, etc., want to use the blockchain. So like, even as somebody who can't read T-charts, I'm looking at that and thinking it's definitely undersold. And even if it goes lower, this just seems like a no-brainer where if you believe in Solana, you would accumulate more because you know what the event is. You know that it's FTX selling. And then on top of that, if you've been listening to Easy in the show for all these weeks, you know that there's been a lot of adoption. So for me, I agree with this. This is oversold and still a buy.
Look at that. You got it from Zig.
I'll buy 5K here or maybe
this is the thing though, Nick. You love to just plow 5K in. Why not, plow that 5K in over like, $500 at a time?
Because I'm too lazy, dude. Fine, I'll buy 2,500 because you're making me question my decision.
No, I'm not.
I just pumped the price for everybody. You're welcome, man. Soul Bear is done. $2,500. I'm gonna carry this market.
I mean, I love it. I love you putting the whole market on your back. Well, look,
$2,500. Watch out. Yo, Warren Buffett, I'm coming for you, dude.
Whale alert. Real quick. So look, we should talk about FriendTech, and we can wrap on that. There's nothing.
Oh God.
Your boy's betting on FriendTech, baby.
Talk about it depressing.
And fees are cooking. I've made 0.6 ETH. It's been great. People
are buying your shares on FriendTech.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Oh yeah, because dude, it's my trade diary. Any move I make goes there first. You got to just be transparent about it. I'm just going to dump my ideas in here. Somebody last night bought 15 of them and spent 1.5 ETH. The guy didn't even follow me on Twitter, so I have no idea why he did it.
Do you get all that money? What happens with this?
So it's a 50-50 split they take 10% of every transaction on buys and sells, and you get 5%, and the platform gets 5%.
Wait, so did other people know about Krapopolis before the show this morning?
I bought it yesterday. I even posted in the Bodega Discord. I even said I'm excited for it. It's why I was like, I don't know if I talk about it. I'm holding this thing until at least the show because I want to see what they make mention of on the show. That's my play here. Like this to me, once again, Krapopolis feels good. I shared my short position that I had opened yesterday on one altcoin. I mean, dude, the FriendTech thing to me, I'm not posting about it on Twitter because I don't want to go to that extreme. But it's like, I think there's something here. Maybe it's the airdrop, but people are excited about it for now. And you're starting like that level of excitement and involvement, seeing increase in user base, seeing an increase in volume. It had more liquidity 3 times in the last 2 weeks than OpenSea did. So that's why I'm like, this is really interesting to me. Like, what is actually going to go down with this over a long enough time? And it's paradigm backed. So we've seen pros and cons to paradigm backed things, but is there going to be an airdrop? That's the bigger bet. And if there is, that's free money for people.
Well, real quick, I've been saying that I want FriendTech to be a real thing. I'm not on it. I haven't bought anything there. I don't have any exposure to it. But making interesting things that are actual legitimate long-term businesses is good. And I was worried at the very beginning that it was just going to be one of these like NFT rug pull, or like just crypto rug pulls. But I kind of wasn't really worried, but people were saying that. So I was like, okay, I don't really know much about this. And then now people are using it because they're farming an airdrop. And that's another thing that I don't view. If you say the word farm, I'm not really interested. I'm not interested in the farm thing because it's just not sustainable. But I am interested to see if this is a actual sustainable organization in the crypto space, because anything new is good that they keep building. So I hope that FriendTech is the building continues. And I hope that in 2 years, it's still a platform that people are using. I hope there's no farming of airdrops on it at that point, because I just don't think that that's a sustainable mechanic, or at least the way it looks right now, I don't think is sustainable. Bunny has his hand raised. Bunny, you have something to weigh in on this with?
Well, mine's on the crap chickens. If you get to decide what happens on the show, we should start like a bodago. We could write bodagos into the show.
I like where Bunny is. I like where Bunny's head is here.
It's pretty interesting.
Didn't they already write the whole show, like for all the episodes for the season, or how does that work?
That's what I'm not sure of. They didn't give a ton of dialogue on that, but I think the users have some say into parts of episodes.
Have you gone into the Discord to investigate this situation?
Dude, no, I only use our Discord. That's it. Don't be ridiculous. I read the whole website. That was it. That was the extent of it. And then I saw the ad on NFL Sunday and was like, wait a minute. They actually launched the TV show. Like, that was the bigger shock to me, was this thing dropped like 6, 7, 8 months ago and has been basically down only. And when I even bought mine last night, the thing was already up 70% over 7 days. I was like, holy shit, people front ran me on this. Like, this is crazy. So to me, I'm like, all right, I just want to take a flyer on this for under a quarter ETH for 3 of them and bet that something here is going to happen.
Bunny's statement is like the same as being like, yeah, well, if we buy all of them, Dan Harmon will make a Bodago's cartoon. Like, that's like definitive. And you're like, wait, really?
No, he won't.
Is that a challenge?
Well, it will be interesting. It will be interesting to see what the story is with.
I hate to be that guy. I got to jump in here because I've been following these guys for like the last year. I remember when they
Crap chicken.
The crab chickens. I was shitting on them, and I was like, dude, these guys are dumbasses. This show's never gonna go live. Well, they've been here. The only thing, Easy, that's throwing a little curveball in your plan is their mint is still live. They never shut it down. Their mint is at 0.18. So to me, that caps the upside that this has, because once it gets to that 0.18, it's just going to be adding more supply to it.
What's the supply?
Probably 400,000, like a nice.
It's like 3,700 right now.
Oh, that's not bad.
There's like another 1,000 I can mint.
That's it? 1,000?
I think I'd have to double check on that, but I'm in the bet.
The collection's 10K. It's 10K.
Wait,
there's another 7,000.
Click the max button. What happens if you click max? What is it?
100.
So my bet here, though, is that we get back towards mint price, which sub 0.1 is almost at clean 2x. And yesterday, for 7 months, they've been trading at 0.05.
This is basically the Donald Trump trade as well. Like, this is trading the Donald Trump NFTs. Does anybody here still own those?
Yeah.
Dude, the Donald Trump season 2 cards were pumping yesterday. The season 2 cards, I have no idea. They got like 150 ETH in volume yesterday. The season 2 one specifically, not season 1. I was like, why? No idea. Literally zero clue. Zero idea why. But they were catching bids yesterday.
The season 2 cards, what can I say about them? People aren't paying attention now. They will be.
Season 1 was better than Washington, better than Lincoln. Season 2? Better than Obama.
He was flipping patties at the Iowa football game at a frat. That's why they're pumping.
He was.
Are you serious?
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, he was at the Iowa versus Iowa State game, just tailgating.
Medium rare. Let me tell you, season 2 better than season 1, but season 1's pretty good too, guys.
No, he's a well done guy.
Just telling you.
He eats well done steak with ketchup. It's confirmed.
That's disgusting. All right, well, look, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's enough for today. Clemente, why don't we dish out this free NFT? Go to the nifty.com/claim. Nick, are we talking about what people can do with these free NFTs now? Or are we skipping that?
We need a proper announcement for it.
Okay. All right. I saw a little comment that I was like, oh, someone saw what's going on. Anyway, go to the nifty.com/claim. Claim today's free NFT. What is the code? FIRE25. FIRE25. This is the final Bodago's relic in the collection. So all you folks that have been collecting the Bodago's relics, this is the last one. This is the Paw of Pessimism, which is the Bodago's relic that corresponds with Kodiak, the bear 1-of-1 NFT that was given away via the not a raffle that we had a few weeks ago. So ladies and gentlemen, go to the nifty.com/claim, put in the code FIRE25. This is the final Bodago's relic in that collection. Really fun series of free NFTs that we did on the platform. Shout out to everybody that's been collecting all of those. Anyway, one more time, the nifty.com/claim FIRE25. If it was your first time listening to this show, we do the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time, right here on Twitter Spaces. Also available on YouTube if you want to actually watch the stream and experience a visual experience versus just audio. Go to YouTube. All the links are available if you kind of click around on our Twitter socials. Won't take you too long to find the YouTube. Also available on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Those links are also there if you want to share it with people outside of the Twitterverse that enjoy listening to podcasts. Anyway, we will be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time right here. Thanks for listening.